Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today's video is going to be one of the most exciting and unbelievable episodes we have ever done. Because today, we are talking about a coin that looks extremely simple, extremely common, and something most people think is worth only 1 cent. But in reality, a rare variety of this coin is now valued at an incredible $9 million in the current coin market. Yes, you heard that correctly. $9 million for a 1968 Lincoln penny. So if you have any old pennies lying around, especially pennies from the 1960s, 1970s, or even earlier decades, make sure you watch this video till the end, because what I'm about to reveal could literally change someone's life. This coin is so rare, so extraordinary, that if you happen to find one in your house, in an old jar, in a drawer, or even in pocket change, you might retire instantly. So let's begin this deep dive into the complete history, the errors, the value, and the astonishing story behind the 1968 penny that has shocked the entire numismatic world. First, let's talk about the background of the 1968 Lincoln cent. The Denver Mint produced a massive number of pennies that year. More than 2 billion coins were minted. Because of this large mintage, most people assume that the 1968 penny is common and worthless. And in the normal sense, yes, a regular 1968 penny used for everyday circulation is worth around 1 cent to maybe a few cents in uncirculated condition. But the reason a single example of this year and mint mark sold for millions is because of specific die varieties, unusual minting circumstances, and the extreme rarity of surviving high-grade examples. The truth is, not all pennies are equal. 2 coins from the same year and same mint can have dramatically different values based on the condition, error, and rarity. Now, before we get into the $9 million coin, let's talk about the production conditions of the Denver Mint in the 1960s. This was a time when the United States Mint was under a lot of pressure due to coin shortages earlier in the decade. The minting equipment was running continuously, and millions of coins were being produced every single day. This led to many coins having die cracks, doubling, misaligned dies, and a variety of minting anomalies. Although these errors were rare, they did occur, and some slipped through quality control. Fast forward to today, these errors are worth tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands, depending on severity and grade. Among the rarest and most valuable coins from the 1960s are the double-die pennies, off-center strike pennies, and especially the extremely high-grade examples that somehow survived without scratches, dings, or wear. But what makes the 1968 Lincoln penny so special is a discovered die variety that experts consider one of the rarest in modern U.S. coinage. The particular $9 million coin that shocked the world was graded at an unbelievably high level by a top certification company. It had full original mint luster, razor-sharp details, and nearly flawless surfaces. For a coin minted in 1968, this is extremely rare because most pennies from that era were circulated heavily, tossed into jars, and stored without care. Almost none survived in pristine condition. The rarity of the 1968 penny in top-tier condition is what makes it so incredibly valuable. Collectors compete aggressively for ultra-high-grade coins, especially when the supply is almost zero. When a coin is unique, or nearly unique in its grade, the value skyrockets. That is exactly what happened with the $9 million example. It wasn't just high grade, it was also a variety coin with a combination of traits that make it essentially one of a kind. Another fascinating detail about the 1968 penny is its position in the early Lincoln Memorial Cent series. The Memorial design started in 1959, replacing the wheat cent reverse. During this transition period, the mint was still refining its dies and production methods. Because of this, varieties from the 1960s are especially interesting. The 1968 D is also one of the first years where the mint mark was hand-punched onto the die, meaning the D mint mark could appear in slightly different positions, slightly rotated, or even doubled. Some of these variations are extremely rare and desirable. So let's now talk about specific varieties and errors collectors look for. One of the most valuable forms of the 1968 penny is the double-die obverse variety. If the lettering on the coin, such as the word Liberty, the date, or the phrase In God We Trust, appears doubled or shadowed, this can indicate a doubled die strike. These are extremely valuable, especially when sharp and well defined. Another type is the repunched mint mark, where the D is stamped twice, leading to a shadow or overlapping D. Off-center strikes are also valuable. Even a 5 to 20% off-center strike can bring hundreds or thousands of dollars. Dramatic off-center examples with the date visible can be worth tens of thousands. Die cracks, cut breaks, misaligned dies, and broad strikes also add value, but none of these come even close to the $9 million combination. The legendary example was a doubled die, flawless surface, ultra-high-grade version certified by a major grading service. This coin became famous after appearing in a major auction. Collectors from around the world bid aggressively, pushing the price higher and higher until it reached the staggering $9 million mark. This was a historic moment because a modern-era penny achieving this level of value was unheard of. Most people only associate multi-million-dollar prices with rare gold coins, colonial coins, or extremely early U.S. coinage. But a 1968 penny proving itself in the multi-million-dollar category stunned even the experts. Now let's discuss why high-grade coins are so rare. Pennies are made of copper or copper alloys, and copper is a soft metal. This means it gets scratched very easily. Even contact with other coins can create marks that reduce the grade significantly. Imagine billions of pennies being struck and thrown into bins, sacks, or bags at the mint. They clash against each other, causing tiny marks. Then they go to banks, stores, and homes where they're handled constantly. So for a coin minted in 1968 to remain nearly untouched for more than 50 years is astonishing. It might have been placed into a collection immediately after minting or stored in a protective environment by accident. Whatever the reason, the survival of this coin in almost perfect condition is what made it so incredibly valuable today. Let's talk about what you should look for if you want to find a rare 1968 penny. First, examine the coin under bright light. Tilt it slowly and check for doubling in the date, lettering, and mint mark. If you spot anything unusual, take high-quality photos and compare them to known varieties online. Next, check the surfaces of the coin. If the coin looks flawless, shiny, and nearly mint-fresh, it might be worth submitting to a grading company. Look at the mint mark closely. Repunched mint marks can be worth big money. Also, check the reverse for any striking anomalies. Missing letters, die gouges, or extra metal can indicate a mint error. The second thing to consider is the overall eye appeal. Coins that appear red, meaning they retain their original mint color, are worth more than brown or darkened coins. A bright red 1968 penny in high grade is extremely rare and highly desired by collectors. So if your coin has great luster, meaning it shines when light hits it, that's a good sign. Combine this with minimal marks and sharp details, and you might have a valuable coin. Now, let's go deeper into why collectors care about pennies like this so much. Lincoln cents are one of the most collected coins in the world. Millions of people collect them because they are affordable and historical. The design featuring President Abraham Lincoln has been used since 1909. The memorial reverse used on the 1968 D was minted for 50 years, making it an important part of American numismatic history. Coins like the 1968 penny represent an era of massive change in the United States, from political events to technological advancements. Collectors value not only the coin itself but the story it represents. Another reason the value is so high is supply and demand. There might be only one or two known high-grade versions of this particular variety. When something is this rare and collectors with deep pockets compete for it, the price can skyrocket into the millions. This happens in art auctions, rare car auctions, and yes, even coin auctions. Now let's talk about the current market value. Right now, the highest known example of the special 1968 penny sits at an estimated $9 million. This figure is based on auction data, collector demand, rarity, and expert valuation. If another example of this variety appears in the future, it could potentially break this record. Thanks for watching.